Good morning. I'm your host, Shaji Krishnan. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Asian Television Network, the ATN, and the crew members for allowing us to host this program on the Guruvayurappan Temple. This Guruvayurappan Temple is located in Brampton, Ontario. And today, in our studios, we got two esteemed guests with us. So I'm going to introduce the guest, and the person on my extreme left is Dr. Kutty. Dr. Kutty is a gastroenterologist, and he's been practicing medicine for the last 5 decades. The Guruvayurappan Temple of Brampton is run by a board of directors who are elected yearly, and Dr. Kutty is the president. Swagatam, Dr. Kutty.
Thank you.
And the person whom I have very next to me is Unni Oppath. Unni Oppath, he used to work in the banking industry for a very long time, and he claims he's retired. But he's been also working as another job as an advisor for the temple for the last 2 decades, and that's keeping him extremely busy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shaji, and namaskaram.
Suprabhatam, Dr. Kutty. I'm going to start the interview with a very tough question. I hope you're ready for it. You know, in Ontario, especially even if you look in Canada, there are so many temples. So do we really need another temple? And if your answer is going to be yes, why? Why is its temple so special?
Years ago, there was many people from India came, but some of them were in the western coast, and some were in the eastern coast and in Ontario. So I came to Ontario. So the Indian community, South Indian community increased, and a stage came that there were so many Malayalis and so many Hindus among the Indians who came to Canada. There are some temples which are of the North Indian heritage, some were of the South Indian thing, but the Malayalis or the Keralites felt that there is no simple temple that they can identify themselves as their own. So they felt there was a need for it, and it was not easy to build a temple. We needed land. Land was expensive, and a few families got together in the mid-1990s. We worked hard, but eventually we realized it's not easy. So in 1999, we registered an organization called Guruvayur Corporation, and we bought a land, and the shareholders agreed to donate 2 acres of land free of cost for the temple. In 2000, we registered a charitable organization, and but it was not possible to build a temple without proper zoning. So our land was agricultural. We had to wait several years because there has to be a secondary planning, which came only later on. And by the time we realized to work for a temple, you have to have a focus, and we didn't have a leadership. So we were advised that we should get a priest or a tantri. So 2006, we got Karyanur Mana Divayara Nambudiri as our priest from Kerala, and he came with a temporary vigraham made of Panchaloha. It was about the Guruvayurappan, and then we wanted to start a temple in a temporary location, and by this time we were given free of cost, free of rent, a farmhouse in Caledon. So that is where we opened a puja. Actually, it was a puja room in the priest's house, and that where we did this temporary Prathishta, and the Guruvayurappan temple started there. And then we realized that we have to build in the area, the 2 acres land donated. So at the advice of Karyanur Mana Divayara Nambudiri, we also approached a Vastu expert, because temple construction in Kerala in itself is an art, and there's a science, and there is Agama Shastra, and there are rules for temple constructions in Kerala heritage. So, and we need a Vastu expert. So we got a Velaparam and Brahmadatan Nambudiri, who is a world-renowned Vastu expert from Kerala. He came here in 2008. He looked at the land, and he gave some suggestions and recommended a location and all that. And by the time the secondary plan was in place, we have Area 48 landowners group, so we were able to apply, and we had to have a soil testing and various testing for the zone change, and eventually the zone was changed from agricultural to institutional or for the temple construction. Then we had to go through a building permit, and we needed lawyers, engineers, and architect. It is a big process, And all this time, we were generating some funds and paying for all these expenses. So we didn't borrow any money. And when we were ready for the building permit, and we got the building permit, then we raised money from loans from the devotees, and we raised almost $3 million, and we raised another $2+ million from a private lender. And using that money in 2 stages, we were able to finish the construction of the temple. And we had the technical part of it, obeying all the city's regulations and the weather conditions. So we constructed an 8,000 square foot building with the ability to park 120 cars and all the other things, and underground toilet facilities and all that. And we got the city's approval. And by the time we had already moved our temporary temple from Caledon to a rented place in Brampton, where we stayed until November of 2017. And in November 2017, we moved from there to our current building as a temporary location. And then we started building these 3 hovels. For that, we brought 4 artisans from Kerala, and who are experts in temple construction. Then we started building the Tidappalli, or the kitchen for the temple. And all those constructions are in process. It's almost finished. And of course, one had to plan to have the permanent Prathishttha. So for that there has to be a muhurtam, and which are all calculated, and everything came back that in the first half of July, we have such a muhurtam. So that is why we have planned our permanent Prathishttha, which is we call a Prathishttha Mahotsavam, starting from the 3rd of July, and it may go to 10 till the 16th, 13 days. So we will finish the Prathishttha, and then there is an Utsavam, and the details will be discussed later on.
You were mentioning that the Murti Sthapana, or the idol consecration, will be happening in mid-July of this year. But can you, before you explain the Murti Sthapana, could you also elaborate on 2 aspects? The first aspect is, I was going through your brochures, and the brochure said in the mid-1990s, a few like-minded people like you joined together to start this whole process. And that's approximately 25 to 30 years back in time we are looking at. Plus, there was a lot of activities that happened when Tirumeni came here from 2006 till last year, 2018. So can you explain both the aspects, what was done and what you're going to achieve in July of this year as well?
So when we went around talking about building a temple, there was no real focus. We didn't have any land, and we didn't know all the regulations. So on the 16th of July 1999, that's when we registered a corporation to build the temple. Then in August 1999, a group of 5 people bought a parcel of land, and it divided into shares, and they agreed to donate 2 acres of land free of cost for the construction of the temple. And even then, we didn't have a focus how we are going to do it, but we did register a charitable corporation soon after. Then we were advised that without a leader, this cannot take. That is how the whole concept of getting a tantri or a priest from Kerala, that is how we found Kariyannur Manadivayaran Nambudiri, and he landed in July 2006, and he brought with him a temporary Prathishttha in Panchaloha from Kerala, and that was installed in a farmhouse. This was available to us free of cost in Caledon, and that's where the Tirumeni also lived. And then we got advice from a Vastu expert, and he was engaged, and that was Brahmadattan Nambudiri, Vayurappan. And because you needed to construct a temple following all the Kerala rituals and the Agama Shastra and all that. So we did planning, and we had a panel of experts, lawyers, architects, engineers, and our own group, and we had to raise funds. So the whole process started. And then the land that was donated was agricultural, and by this time secondary planning took place, and we were able to get the zone changed, and then we were able to apply for a building permit. And that took a long process too. And eventually we were given building permit and we started construction. And that was about 2015-16 we started. And we needed funds, and initially we raised funds. Okay? And that came from devotees, about $3 million, and we had a private lender. And the private lender, we took about 2.4 million. And so the construction was completed essentially for the external thing, and the interior construction had to take place. That by that time we got possession. That was in November 2017, and we moved the temporary temple there, and the construction started. And that is the time when we were also planning to have the permanent, installation and consecration of the deities. So the deities were all made in stone, black stone in Kerala, and we have a Krishna in Vishwarupa, and then we have Ganapati, Ayyappa, and Devi. And these are all done to the satisfaction of our Tantri and priest, and this is all done in Kerala. Then various things that are required for the Prathishta, they came, already one shipment already came, another shipment is arriving in another 3 or 4 weeks' time. So a lot of planning has gone behind it. Now, once we have all these temporary, installation of these things taken place, we are ready for the permanent Prathishta. Then we have to have a large number of special pujaris as well as percussionists and other experts come, because this is a big process. So we have this goes from 3rd of July to the 16th of July, and we have a committee dealing with it, and we have a big brochure prepared. That's probably what you're referring to.
That's right.
And I'm sure there will be, Unni and Tirumeni will be elaborating on that. So we are working on it, and I forgot to mention, we already got a mortgage from bank, and the bank insists that we should not, borrow more money. So we have to raise funds for the Prathishta too.
So my next question is to you, Mr. Unni. So my question is, you must be really excited about the Maha Pratishttha event that's coming up in July of this year. Can you elaborate on how the planning and the arrangements are all coming up together?
Okay. First of all, let me explain to you about the excitement. The excitement is going on for the last 20 years. As Dr. Kutty said, we have started this process for the last more than 20 years. So everyone who is visiting the temple or everyone you speak to, they are all asking when is the Maha Pratishttha, when is the grand opening of the temple, as a full-fledged temple. So, and then people are offering their, help as volunteers, as puja bookings, etc. They are all volunteering and asking everybody, they are asking every time, let us know what we have to do. So that excitement is still going on, and it will be sustained forever, I think. Little bit before the Maha Pratishttha declaration was done, I think we did it in last September or October, if I remember properly. Even before that, mentally we were all prepared that what we have to do for Maha Pratishttha, because it's a huge, very huge event, and it is a very huge function when it is called Maha Pratishttha. There are 370 plus items used for these rituals. Wow. Because our Guruji, our chief priest, our Tantri, Tirumeni gave us a list. These are the things required for the one. And out of 371 items, almost 200 items are specifically we can only get from Kerala or India, some part of India, or specifically from Kerala. So, as Dr. Kutty mentioned, we brought a container of all these stone made idols and steps and door frames and the parivarams, that means which goes around the sanctum sanctorum. Those are all representing other devatas. So, all those things have already come in the last container which we received in June. Now, for Prathishta, for the consecration, these are the, as I was mentioning about those items, they are coming in this container, and still that is not complete. So, it is a huge effort. Why I am explaining all these things? Because it is a huge effort. Plus, this is going to be like very an expensive, function. So, we have to make some local arrangement as well, raising money and getting permits from several authorities for the crowd control, parking, accommodation, travels, and maintenance of security and safety and security, etc. For all that, we have formed committees, different committees for food, annadhanam, etc. So, which is called in langar actually. So, all these arrangements are being made. Committees are meeting every other week. It is going to be every week after a couple of months, and it is going to be every day during this event. So, all these arrangements are going on, and naturally people are excited.
Oh, that's really amazing. So, you're trying to resource a lot of things happening
Yes.
here. A lot of karmis are coming, a lot of tantris are coming.
Yes.
So, basically you have lots of purohits, acharyas and all the helpers along with the artisans and percussion players coming from all over the world.
Yes. Yeah, they are coming from Kerala especially because I know I am not very, authoritatively our Guruji will be explaining to you that, but these percussionists and tantris and karmis, the purohits are coming from Kerala especially because our system is different from other temples. Like the Kerala temples are performed in a different system that our Guruji will be explaining to you. So, that is why we are bringing all these karmis from purohits from Kerala. And percussion also, there are some certain rules that when the worship or puja or the kriyas are going on, there is a specific type of percussions, specific type of rhythms they can, which only can be done by trained percussionists from Kerala. That is why we are bringing people from there. So, almost we are talking about almost 12 to 13 people arriving from Kerala. So, the process of visa and travels are going on.
I think you were mentioning about the Maha Pratishttha events, the festivities or the Ulsavams you're talking about, plus all the subsequent temple events coming up. So, my question is, can you elaborate how as a community we can assist the Guruvayurappan temple of Brampton during the upcoming Maha Pratishttha, the Ulsavam or the festivities and the subsequent events which you are planning?
Yeah. First of all, everyone should feel, everyone should think in their mind and have a feeling always, this is going to be happening within next 4 months. Okay. That itself will bring them to the temple, that itself will make them to do for the temple by way of donation, by way of participation, by way of registering for pujas, booking for pujas, by way of sponsoring every part and particle of the temple, every part and particle of the items needed for the festivities and rituals. So, and then just a general donation, just a general like we have these annadhanam, people can donate for annadhanam because a lot of people will be visiting from outside. So, we need to feed all of them when they come. So, there are so many ways they can come and help. The community can involve. Yes.
So my question, next question is to you, Dr. Kutty. Now, this kind of project demands huge financial commitment. So from what I'm hearing, it's sort of a big mega scale project. So how are you planning to generate funds, and how the listeners can help you?
See, this has been a long process from the very beginning. As I told you earlier on, we didn't borrow money, we managed all from the donations. We minted 1,500 medallions, and people were buying, they were paying for the medallion, $1,000, and they were getting a tax receipt plus pujas in their name for lifetime commitment. Then we had a Udayasamana Puja commitment. Then we, of course, charitable donations. And now we also have a monthly pledges, because our idea is not only to pay for the loan now, but to make this temple debt free. So for that we have a monthly pledge, which is standing around 18,000 per month now, but we need to take it to 25,000 per month. And for this Prathishta alone, it's estimated that about $500,000 required. So we are counting on people committing for the pujas, and we are creating a brochure, a souvenir at the time, which will also be a family album for the community. So we encourage all the families to take half a page and put their family's photograph for $250. And we want to generate, then we have a back cover, front cover, all those things are advertised. Plus the pujas, you can book pujas. And so we have to generate enough funds, and we should know by the end of maybe June, at least we should know where we stand. Because we have a commitment to the bank for our, our mortgage and all that, we are not allowed to borrow any more money without the bank's permission. But I think this is why we are really expecting the devotees to come forward, make their commitment, and give generously. So we hopefully will make enough money. And after that, we will start paying back the loan, which is a 5-year commitment, which we hope we will be able to make this temple debt-free for our future generations.
Thank you, Dr. Kutty and Mr. Unni. So it's a very wonderful discussion we had today. We are deeply obliged to both of you for enlightening us about the unique Kerala-style temple that will be a catalyst for the new beginnings and the cultural awakenings within our community and Canada as general. Once again, a very big thanks goes to the ATN team and the crew for allowing us to broadcast this message, which are very truly inspiring and illuminating. The temple, which we are talking about today, the Sri Guruvayurappan Temple of Brampton, is built at the intersection of Countryside and Torbram Road in Brampton. It is open to all, so please check this temple on our website. It's www.guruvayur.ca, and we spell Guruvayur at GURUVAYUR.ca. To realize this dream of this beautiful temple, a large number of people have contributed in various ways, and more is needed. So we are counting on all of you for your ongoing support in this particular project. We need to maintain and have a smooth functioning of the temple, of this magnificent once-in-a-lifetime opportunity temple that's coming up in the month of July this year. So please mark this date on your calendars. Please make yourselves free. Please visit us. You can get more information from our website, or just pick up the phone and give us a call as well. It is said that faith and participation of all devotees of the temple enhance the glory, the power and fame. We call it Shakti, Chaitanyam and Tejas. Let the abundant radiance of the Supreme Power fill us with grace and prosperity for the years to come. Om Namo Narayanaya.